Can we start it, Miss
Do
Sweeney?
you want us to start now, or you want us to wait till 8? Is everybody here, or you want us to wait till 8?
Yeah, I think everyone is here, and maybe others can catch up. Maybe Miss Sweeney can start the meeting now, please.
Yes. Udah masuk ya.
Okay.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Lebih simpel.
Dear Honorable Speaker, distinguished guests, and all participants, welcome to the introduction to collaborative online international learning project with Coventry University. On behalf of the organizers, we wish to extend our warm welcome and thank you to speaker and guests of honor and dear all participants. I would also like to extend my sincere appreciation to Economic Development Undergraduate Program, Faculty of Economic and Business, Universitas Muhammadiyah Surakarta for organizing this event. In this chance, we are going to discuss more about COIL program with Coventry University. The COIL itself stands for Collaborative Online International Learning. This program provides an opportunity for especially Economic Development Undergraduate Program from Universitas Muhammadiyah Surakarta to interact with international universities. Dear all participants, our first session is Al-Quran recital. To Miss Miftah Kulfani, time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Lillahi ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard wa in tubdu ma fi anfusikum aw tukhfuhu yuhasibukum bihillah fayaghfiru liman yasha'u wa yu'adzibu man yasha'u wallahu ala kulli syai'in qadir. Amanar Rasulu bima unzila ilaihi mir rabbihi wal mu'minun kullun amana billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulih lanufarriqu baina ahadim mir rusulih wa qalu sami'na wa ata'na ghufranaka rabbana wa ilaikal masir. La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha laha ma kasabat wa 'alaiha maktasabat. Rabbana la tu'akhidna in nasina aw akhtana. Rabbana wa la tahmil 'alaina isran kama hamaltahu 'alal ladina min qablina. Rabbana wa la tuhammilna ma la taqata lana bih wa'fu anna waghfir lana warhamna anta maulana fansurna 'alal qaumil kafirin. Shadaqallahul azim.
Thank you, Miss Miftah Kulfani. Dear all participants, our next session is listening to National Anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya, and followed by Muhammadiyah Anthem, Sang Surya.
Islam
Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, to begin with, I would like to invite the Chair of Economic Development Undergraduate Program, Faculty of Economic and Business, Universitas Muhammadiyah Surakarta, Dr. Eni Setiawati, to deliver a welcome speech. However, we are really sorry to inform that both of the Dean of the Faculty and Head of Department are both unavailable due to an important meeting. Therefore, this session will be represented by Bapak Ali Zainal Abidin, Magister of Economics. To Bapak Ali Zainal Abidin, Magister of Economics, time is yours.
Yes, thank you very much to Ms. Winnie Pravitasuchi. Warm greetings to everyone involved, especially the Honorable Speaker, Dr. 𝘾𝙊𝙄𝙑 from Coventry University. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's really good to have you all for today's meeting. And hopefully we are hoping that on the behalf of the Dean and the Head of Department of Economics, both Professor Anton Agus Setiawan and Dr. Eni Setiawati, we would love to have you, everyone here, especially the students, to learn from the initiator of the project itself, the project itself, from Dr. 𝘾𝙊𝙄𝙑. And Dr. 𝘾𝙊𝙄𝙑 is a senior lecturer in Coventry University. And then hopefully we will learn more about the project later on so that everyone will have the chance to actually contribute to the project, especially to get more networks from UK students, especially the ones from Coventry University, under the supervision of Dr. 𝘾𝙊𝙄𝙑 himself. And also, I would like to thank all of the owners of this particular event who have prepared everything that are available, so that makes this event available and achievable. Thank you very much for everyone involved, including all the MC, all the parents. And I think that's it for the presentation. And I would like to give this back to Ms. Winnie Pravitasuchi. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Pak Ali. Well, dear all participants, we are moving to our main session, the Introduction Collaborative Online International Learning, or COIL project with Coventry University, UK. This session will be delivered by Dr. 𝘾𝙊𝙄𝙑, and the moderator for this session is Ali Zainal Abidin, Magister of Economics. To Bapak Ali Zainal Abidin, Magister of Economics, time is yours.
Yes, thank you once again, Ms. Winnie Pravitasuchi, and warm welcome to everyone again. So this is the main session. Today I will be your moderator. My name is Ali Zainal Abidin. I'm one of the lecturers in the Economics Department of Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Muhammadiyah Surakarta. So today, in this particular afternoon, or morning in UK time for Dr. 𝘾𝙊𝙄𝙑, actually we have this honorable speaker, the one that actually are willing to start this collaborative learning, or COIL project in short. And for today's session, we will learn from Dr. 𝘾𝙊𝙄𝙑. He will have his presentation. And then afterwards, maybe if some of the students here are willing to ask for further questions, and Dr. 𝘾𝙊𝙄𝙑 would love to answer all of your questions. I think that's the introduction for this session. Dr. 𝘾𝙊𝙄𝙑. Hello, Dr. 𝘾𝙊𝙄𝙑. How are you for today?
Hi, thank you. Hi.
Yeah.
Ali.
Good morning
Okay.
to you.
Good morning.
Yeah.
And thank you for inviting me and organizing such a wonderful opening and event. I'm sure I particularly liked the use of the national anthem, and it's very, very inspiring. Okay, if you don't mind, I would share a presentation. Can I do that? Is it okay?
Yes, absolutely, sir.
Okay. I don't know if you can see my presentation slides.
It's on, sir. It's on.
It's on. Thank
Yes.
you so much. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam.
Okay, like I said, this is a privilege to be in your presence, and I'm particularly excited at the opportunity to present to the faculty of UMS. I hope I can call it just UMS so that I do not murder the name. So I just call it UMS because of pronunciation, if that's fine. I would talk you through what the collaborative online international learning, although Dr. Winnie has already done such a wonderful job talking about it already. So I was wondering, oh, she might as well give the lecture. She knows about it already. She's talking about it brilliantly. So I will take you through what it is, what our ideas are, and if you do have any questions at any point in time, I'm happy to take questions as I'm going through, and also at the end. Dr. Ali says I would answer all questions. I can't promise you that. I can just promise you that I will try. And if I do have any questions I can't answer, I'll take it back and come back to you if it's necessary. Okay. Typically, I'd love to introduce myself, but Dr. Ali has already done a good job of it, introducing me. Let me see. The only thing I would add is maybe my research area. So I'm with the Center for Financial and Corporate Integrity in Coventry, and we focus on research around corporate governance, digitalization, and all this kind of modern technology. That's where I do my research. However, I also lecture with the School of Strategy, and I lecture strategy, ethics, and leadership sometimes, and things like that. By now, you might have guessed that my passion really is in my research, but I also do enjoy a lot of teaching and passing knowledge across. So I'll give you a brief outline of what the coil would look like. So I'm just going to tell you what the coil is and what our ideas are around it. I'll talk about some coil tips and then why we run the coil, and then how we'll start a coil project. Then I'll show you some examples of what we've done in the past. There's an idea that we already have that we would like to share with UMS, but of course we can always fine-tune the ideas to start our relationship. Okay, so what is the coil? What is the coil itself? What exactly is it about? Well, as explained by Dr. Winnie brilliantly, it's just this term that we coined at Coventry. So it's not like it's a term that exists everywhere. It's a term we coined, and she's explained it as a collaborative online international learning. The idea is that we give virtual mobility experiences to students and indeed for lecturers, and we hope that this is incorporated into the educational curriculum of the students, thereby enhancing their experience beyond the scope of just their own country, and getting engaged in diverse learning opportunities and collaboration with diverse people, expanding your diversity base, if I can put it that way. To do this, the advent of the internet and internet-based tools have made certain things possible, and we believe that we can take advantage of this to enhance not only learning but also interactions across different geographic distances. The use of the internet means that we can break that geographic barrier and get people of different cultural backgrounds interacting together. That's what the COIL project is all about. The idea that we can use digital tools to get students engaged in specific kind of exchanges and ideas, and then they would share their intercultural skills. that's what the core project is. Well, there are 4 key elements that define the core project. First, it must involve a cross-border collaboration for people of different backgrounds and culture. Coventry University is a UK-based university, even though we're very much international with different students from different backgrounds and countries and continents. We believe that mixing the kind of education they are getting in the UK, even though it's international and diverse within Coventry itself, interacting with students from other regions and countries would greatly enhance the students' learning experience and engagement. Hence, the core project, the first element is that it must be cross-border collaboration. Then, the second element is the students must engage together. There must be some form of online interaction. Either it's asynchronous or synchronous interaction, but there must be some form of engagement between the students, i.e. students of Coventry, and then the students of the cross-border, the Coventry is having the cross-border interaction with. The third element is that there must be some form of international learning outcomes. What we're expecting that students learn, it's not just going to be something based on or something of Coventry or something of UK or Indonesia. No, there must be some form of international learning that can test and foster the students' intercultural competences, get them thinking beyond their own present confines and get them out of the box, because they're interacting with people with different experiences from different places to solve an international problem, and that international learning outcomes. And finally, there must be some form of feedback, there must be some form of reflective components that helps the students to think critically about such interactions that have just taken place. So it's beyond just, okay, you've done it, okay? Even though you've done it, how is your thinking, your own personal thinking? There will be reflective elements to your the core project that you've just engaged in, so that you can critically think about it and then imbibe the learnings that you get from the project. I'll mention some keywords that you might hear us say in Coventry. You'll hear something like non-home university partners, that will be UMS, for example, in this case. You hear something like peer-to-peer learning. In this case, we're referring to students themselves, learning amongst themselves, because even though you would have your lecturers coordinating the activities for you, but the thinking, the learning will be totally left to the students to do amongst themselves. You would need to practice this, do things by yourselves, arrange your meetings, arrange the collaborations and the presentations. You do it peer-to-peer, and the peer-to-peer learning, you get ideas from yourselves and things like that. There would also be the reflective element, which is your own personal one, that interactive, discipline-specific learning task. So what might happen is that during the collaboration, you will get to maybe get different tasks in a group as a normal team. You know, if you're working in a normal team, you would have different tasks, and you would have to meet certain objectives for your group to be able to make to be able to achieve the task that is expected of you. Then that intercultural competence development, well, exactly, I've explained this before. It's beyond just your own present confine or your own present understanding of your country. We're going to look for a situation where you now engage interculturally to expand your learning and competences. How do we define the learning outcomes for the core project? How do we define it? Well, we lean on the constructive alignment as suggested by John Briggs. The idea is this: we would form the intended learning outcomes, meaning what exactly will students be able to do by the time they are done with the project? What exactly would they be able to do? We will design in the project, we'll design learning activities, exactly what learning and activities you're going to do, typically over a period of 2 to 3 weeks. And then we would give some form of assessment and feedback in terms of like, okay, either peer-to-peer feedback by students or general feedbacks, and then of how you've done, what you're doing, what other people think about it, and all. So all this is contained in the core project, and you would see this in the learning outcomes. What do we think? What kind of things would you ask yourself when you're participating in the core? Now, this is more for like the Department of Economics, for example, here and with Coventry. Yeah. What would we be thinking? The idea would be this: if you're participating in the core, you'll be thinking to yourself as lecturers or as a university or indeed as a department, where exactly, which aspect of the curriculum will be enhanced if the students get together and work with people of other countries. Would you improve their ability to inclusive learning? Will it be more of their diversity? Will it be more moving towards sustainability and the goals, which is more towards maybe like some goal, if I'm correct, is it 5, education for all and all, or things like that? Which part of your curriculum will be enhanced if you do participate in the core project? Are there specific tasks that maybe you're thinking that you need international views and different cultural experiences for your students to benefit from? This could also be objectives of going into the core for UMS, for example, and indeed the economics and business department. Where exactly are you looking and are you hoping to shape and get from the student, or are you hoping to add to the student experiences? For example, over time, we've had situations where the core project has been such a wonderful experience for students in terms of like, they actually participate in a specific activity, working in teams. This not only adds to their CV, it also gives them opportunity to be able to discuss, for example, during job interviews, what they have done, the kind of projects they've participated in, and as you will see at the end, they obtain certificates for this participation. So, which kind of activities might you engage in the core project? Well, you would have things like critical discussions and debate amongst the students. Like I said, it's student-led, it's peer-to-peer learning. You'll be given certain activities, certain things to do, and then you would go away, arrange your own time, and critically discuss amongst yourselves. Typically, would expect that this discussion is recorded or this debate is recorded. I'll come to that much later if I'm describing the particular project that we're suggesting. To put some form of pressure on, we would put some time constrained activities. You have to do this by XYZ time. And like I said, depending either a task or a debate, or it could even be a game or a simulation, depending on the way the core is organized. You could have some role play activities, which is students are taking up certain kind of roles as designed by the students themselves in their pair. The activities you are given might tell you to take up certain roles, and then you would all assign the roles and play those roles. You could have yourselves interviews and questions and answer sessions, very possible in design in some core, maybe not all. There could possibly be some data analysis, modeling, and testing. Not like, again, it doesn't mean that all core projects would have this, depending on the particular core project. There could be And indeed, usually there's a document that you're going to present at the end. So it could be, and you're going to work together to present that document. Students from Coventry and the students from UMS, for example, you present that document. It will require research, some form of rigor. You need to design it because you're going to get peer reviewed. So those documents would be posted on a certain site, which I will talk to you later about. And students would need to go and make comments on what other groups have done and give certain feedback. So there's going to be the peer-to-peer review that you would carry out. Like I said, this whole process exposes you to a lot of different activities. Imagine you're designing, you're researching, you're giving peer-to-peer review, you're having critical discussions amongst yourself, and opportunities for role play. What kind of technologies would we use? Well, we'd design the activities to suit technologies that is available in both environments, in both countries. So, for example, in the UK as well as Indonesia. So, we'd work within the boundaries of what we have, and there's a way we'd be in control of the tools that we use. Would also use technology that everybody sort of ready and understands how to use. For example, simple things like the WhatsApp. I'm sure students might use that amongst themselves. You have the Zoom that we are on now can be a tool to use. And so digital technologies that is already available and widely used, and would think of which particular ones to explore. And students, again, can decide amongst themselves exactly how they proceed. Okay, so why run a core project? We've been discussing a lot of things, and I might have touched on a lot of different benefits already. But why would you run a core project as a department or as a university? Why would this be an important activity for you to do? Well, first of all, it expands the teaching portfolio. So there's some form of flip learning happening here, as well as student-led learning themselves. So the teaching portfolio of the university gets expanded. The students get to develop their digital skills by engaging in a core activity with people from across different countries, different oceans. Well, you will get to use digital skills a bit more. There's also a potential, for example, of travel if a core project is designed such that maybe students get to come from one country to the other. There's been those designed in the past. You're also engaging, students are also going outside their comfort zone. So you're used to doing things in a certain way. The Coventry students are used to maybe having their own assignments and getting Coventry ways of doing things. Well, this time, you're going to have to interact with UMS students who have their own ways of doing things and the way they've been doing their work, assignments, projects in the past. So students are going to have to go outside their comfort zone to accommodate each other for them to be able to succeed in their project. Well, it's very possible that academics can use this as an example or as an opportunity to conduct some form of research or indeed publishing opportunities. Because if you're looking at what the students are doing and the reaction, interaction, learning, there could be some opportunities for certain education advancements that you might want to write about or indeed publish about. The core project also quickly establishes a relationship amongst universities. It's a safe way to build a partnership. So all of a sudden, UMS would become and Coventry will become partners together. And it means we've worked together. And this is a great opportunity for Coventry University to be able to work with UMS. And hopefully, we'll have a lot of learning to get from UMS. It's also very cost effective. I mean, practically, we are working just using the digital technologies, no cost additional, at least no major additional cost to any student. So, I mean, obviously, there might be the cost of the internet, which you normally have at home anyway, but there's no cost to this core project. And lastly, and probably most important to me anyway, because the interpersonal skills that we develop as students or as human beings, in my own opinion, represent maybe a major part of our learnings as growing adults, and it serves us very well into the future. So, well, this part might be a bit technical, but I mean, how do we start the core project at CU or with CU? So it's very possible for Coventry to initiate a project, or indeed the partner university can initiate a project and get in contact with us to say, oh, we have this idea that we'd like to run, and we don't know if your students will be interested. And once that comes, it goes to a central place, actually in Coventry. Indeed, the project that we're planning to run with UMS now would be centered through the COIL unit. There's actually a global engagement unit in Coventry for this, and they would help us set up the platforms and everything required to make the project a success. And in the end, they would also be the ones to issue the certificate. If the project is initiated outside Coventry, well, they will look for partnership for that project, get the ideal school, ideal number of students, ideal faculties involved, and what semester that project should run. What are the administrative steps of running the COIL? Well, you would have the project leader, typically the lecturer in charge of that module, or the team in charge of that module at Coventry would lead for Coventry. Then perhaps the team in charge of the partner universities, department, or faculty would lead on the project. The reason for this is the two university leads will be able to help with coordination of the students. For example, how to register the students on the right page, the learning platform that we're going to use. The learning platform would be Coventry's learning platform, actual Coventry's learning platform, which in this case is called the Aula. We've transitioned to the Aula. It will be the learning platform. The students will be registered. They'll be sent a link to register on the platform. Both Coventry and UMS students would actually do this enrollment on the platform, and they'll be told how to do it. Yes, exactly. The link will be shared by the Coventry CU lead. It will be shared to the international partner lead as well as the students. It will, in this case, it will actually be put in a document brief where you would know where exactly to go. It will also be in an email for you to be able to access. Students must enroll themselves because it's gives the students the right to the platform, where we typically would not enroll for students. So students must do their own enrollment themselves. What would be the role of the administrators? Well, would confirm, for example, would confirm the lead at UMS, for example, which could be the lecturer, like I said, or maybe a team that would coordinate the UMS students. They will provide a list of the students, for example, to the Coventry lead. The Coventry lead will form like the teams together, mix them. Either the teams at UMS, for example, might have decided to choose themselves into maybe teams of, as discussed or agreed between the project leads, would agree on what number of what number of group members should be in a particular team working together. We might not keep it too large, but we might like to keep it maybe at a reasonable, moderate number. And once that is done, the project lead from the partner university would provide that list to the Coventry University lead, and that Coventry University lead will be able to infuse the teams together and then probably send a general email to let the core teams know who they are working with. From the beginning of the project, eligibility criteria and what the students need to do to obtain a certificate will be explained. If a student does not meet all the criteria, they will be excluded from the certificate. This is what the certificate looks like. Like I said, it's something quite important, at least from my experience and interaction with students. It's something important because it's a clear project that a student has done, and they can use it, like I said, as an example of inclusive learning, diverse cross-border learning, and maybe how they performed certain tasks. It's always a very easy go-to area. Okay, what kind of projects have we done in the past? Well, I won't bore you too much with this. For example, we have loads of different partners. We've worked with universities from Hong Kong. This one was run by our Faculty of Health and Life Sciences, where the students looked at differences in nursing cultures between nursing in these two different countries. What kind of what are the similarities and differences in the way the nursing profession and activities are done? And then they use different synchronous plus asynchronous learning methods. The auditing, we've done one with our auditing team, over 116 students, where we partnered with Rhodes University in South Africa, and they use Skype meetings, and they worked as auditing junior auditors, and with the senior auditor, they did a role play. And for this one, for example, it's formed part of their assessments for the students. And so this was quite interesting. And of course, the students gave extremely positive feedback. There's been projects that involve traveling out of Coventry, for example, where some students worked on a black sensor package for small boats. So this was run by the engineering department and with the Ireland University in Ireland Lands, and it involved virtual communication and in the end a field trip. I would show you the kind of website we have in Coventry for this. So the core project is a major aspect of learning in Coventry. We use it a lot because it helps us with the SDG achievements, the goals. It forms part of how we can do our inclusive learning. So it's quite important, and you can see that on the website. We've done projects, over 174 projects with about 225 institutions in 2021-2022 alone, from 74 different countries. I don't know if you're still seeing my screen. Ali, are you still seeing my screen?
Sorry?
Are you still seeing my screen? Can you still see my screen?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so like this, you can see the kind of global reach that the coral has afforded Coventry round the world. The map shows you different kind of countries in which we have we've been able to reach with the coral. Can you see the map?
It's lagging, Folajimi. Maybe you should stop the share screen first and then try again. Maybe.
And reshare. Okay, yeah, okay. Can you see now?
Yes, okay, it's on.
Yes, okay, exactly. You can see the outreach that the core project has afforded Coventry in 2021-2022 alone, over 74 countries around the world, and with 225 different institutions. So that's how important the core is to us, and we feel it might be a good opportunity also for UMS. Okay, so I'll stop sharing this one and go back to sharing my presentation, which is about to end anyway. 1 second. Okay.
Please
And
continue.
thank you very much. I will take questions if there are any.
All right. Thank you very much for the introduction of this collaborative online interactive learning or COIL project from 𝘾𝙊𝙄𝙘 University. And it is also with greatest honor that we have this particular presentation from Dr. 𝘾𝙧𝙤𝙘 𝙂𝙧𝙤𝙘. And before we begin the Q&A session, I would like to give you a brief explanation about what COIL project is based on the presentations that were made from Dr. 𝘾𝙧𝙤𝙂 𝙂𝙧𝙤𝙘. So basically, the COIL project is like a virtual mobility project that allows all the students from different backgrounds and different countries with different cultures to engage in a collaborative learning, and that they are willing to do a few tasks and objectives as well. And then there will be several tools, and that they are most importantly cost effective. Yeah. And the students only need internet-based tools, and that you guys will have to link with other students from 𝘾𝙊𝙄𝙘 universities or even from other particular universities. And then from this particular event or this project, you will have the chance to develop your ideas, and then the cultural ideas as well, and other digital skills. And then students can also engage in online interactions with different people from different backgrounds, especially those whom are the students in 𝘾𝙊𝙄𝙘 University. And then there will be several objectives or activities that will be required to achieve the certificate for COIL project. There are at least 7 activities that were mentioned by Dr. 𝘾𝙧𝙤𝙂. The first is the critical discussion or debate, and then the second is time constrained tasks, and then the role play activities, and then the interviews or Q&A sessions, and then data analysis, modeling and testing, the collaborative research designing, and last was the peer review activities. Students can also arrange the technologies that are involved for the COIL project, whether from his example, there were students from Africa whom using the Skype, and then students can also use Zoom meetings or even Google Meets and other international or in other technological advancement. And then the WhatsApp groups probably for Indonesians, because it's more common here. And then there will be several administrative objectives that you guys or the whole students have to do before joining the COIL project. I think that's a brief description about the COIL project from 𝘾𝙊𝙄𝙘 University. And now we will begin the Q&A session from all the students. Thank you very much, first of all, because there are at least 180 participants, Dr. 𝘾𝙧𝙤𝙂, and most of them are students here from the economics department. And then hopefully a lot of them will be interested to join up with COIL project from 𝘾𝙊𝙄𝙘 University. Okay, I will open the Q&A session. Please, if there are any other questions from the students, please raise your hand and I will give you the microphone. Is there any questions? Who would like to ask questions? Please. Is there any questions for this particular meeting? Okay. Oh, Miss Winnie would like to ask a few questions, probably. Please.
Guys already hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Lil. Let me be the first one who started the discussion section. Okay, hello, Mr. 𝘾𝙧𝙤𝙗. It's very nice to meet you through this Zoom meeting. There are two questions. I will start with personally, I'm really interested with this program because, as you say, that this program is very cost effective and cost efficient. Yeah. My name is Winnie, and my research interest is in environmental economics, and I also lecture in natural resource and energy economics. I was wondering, is there only specific topics are able to apply? Because I read from your curriculum vitae that you are from Center of Financial and Corporate Integrity. Yeah. If it is possible, can I apply for my class since I lecture in natural resource and energy economics? Kayaknya itu dulu Pak Ali, biar dijawab.
Okay, is it clear, Dr. 𝘾𝙧𝙤𝙗? Maybe
Yes,
you may
thanks.
answer it first.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Winnie, Dr. Winnie. Thank you very much for that question, and thank you for opening the floor. I thought it was all going to be silent all through. Yes, the core project is open to anyone, any department, and the project in itself would be designed by the coordinators from the universities. So, for example, let's say we have a project from Coventry, and we share with UMS. UMS might look at the project and say, okay, this project fits this kind of students, and we feel this sets of students will benefit from the project. If you want a particular core project, either you've designed one yourself and you share with Coventry, or you could initiate and say, we want a project for this type of students and these kind of ideas, and then we can initiate it in Coventry and design also for maybe our Coventry students. So yes, all students can participate if they would benefit from particular projects. So it's not specific. So for example, the UMS could even have ideas of projects even outside the economics department totally. And it could be some other kind of faculties that want a core project with Coventry. So I might not be able to do anything around health or nursing, but would send you to the right faculty, and they would. That's why we have the central group who handles it for the whole university. Coventry has got almost 40,000 students in different faculties. So that's a huge responsibility to handle international activities. As you saw from the presentation, there are over 74 countries we deal with. So it's handled at the center by Coventry.
Okay.
Well, okay, yeah.
Is there any feedback?
No, I think I already get the answer. Thank you, Dr. 𝘾𝙧𝙤𝙗, for the sharp and brief explanation.
Thank you very much from both Ms. Winnie Pravitasuchi and Dr. 𝘾𝙧𝙤𝙗 for the Q&A. Is there any other questions from students probably whom are interested to know more about the COIL project? Or maybe you have several other issues that you would like to know before you apply for this project. Is there anyone willing to? Please raise your hand and I will give it to you. Okay, please, Muhammad Nara Rafli. The time is yours.
Thanks for the opportunity. So my name is Nara Rafli. I'm a second-year student of UMS. I have a question. So basically, COIL is a project for students who want to engage to develop a specific skills with all of their different background, right? And My question is, how about the language barrier? Because not all of Indonesian are good or even can speak or understand English. Since you got activities such as discussion, debate, interview, Q&A, and the other else, I think students should be at least understand English. So how about that? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the question, Nara Raphael. I think that's a very fantastic question. With the online learning, the idea would be, well, we know that our learning in the UK, for example, is done via English language, but we also engage with international students, and it's actually a good opportunity for all students to sort of interact regardless of their speaking ability. The idea is not to test. When you have collaborations, it's not an English speaking test. It's more the cross-cultural thinking test. So I get it. Perhaps students would be at least need to be able to communicate, but it's not, the objective is not the English. It's more the thinking of the students around the project. Yes, so I'm hopeful that it's not so much as the extent of your command of the English language, rather it's more your the extent of your thinking that we are looking for here. And the students, once students are interacting among themselves, of course they will know that different students have different commands of the English language. English language is not a test of any knowledge. You know, the thinking itself is what we look for. Like I said, even within Coventry University, it's very much international, and students are able to communicate. I don't know if that helps a bit, Nara Raphael.
Okay. Thank you very much for the question and for the answer. So maybe I will give a little brief explanations from Dr. Fulajimi, so that students don't really need expert to be an expert in English in order to join this project, as long as you have the critical thinking, because that's what matters in this COIL project. As long as you have the critical thinking, and maybe you can have the chance to use other additional applications. Maybe you can join up, or you can use Google Translate, like for instance, or even other applications that will help you to understand more about the English. But it's more about the critical thinking or the ideas that you have in order to join this COIL project. Language barrier is there, but it's not the most important issue to discuss about. I think that's from Nara Rafli. Is there any feedback?
Okay, I think I get it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. Is there any other verbal questions first? There is one from the chat box. Is there anyone who are willing to ask verbally first? All right. Maybe I will ask one from Zaki Anwar Makarim. Yeah, he is asking about how is the collaborative project administration? How about it? Because is it necessary to bring lecturers from UMS or from Coventry, or do we really have to learn everything on our own? I think that's it. Is there any supporting from the lecturers, or they will have to learn on their own? Please, Dr. Fulajimi, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. And yes, the learning is by the students themselves. What the lecturers will do, so you would have coordinators from Coventry as well as UMS to guide, and in case there are issues, to make sure that the administrative part works well. But that's to the extent of the project brief. You'll be given a project brief and you're meant to go out there and collaborate amongst yourself with the students. If there are any issues, administrative issues, of course, you can get back to your coordinators. But on the project itself, the coordinators do not provide you with anything other than the brief that you've been given. Of course, if you're not clear about any specific issues, you can always get back to your coordinators. But the work is going to be done between the students, teams interacting. Remember, there's no right or wrong when you're doing this kind of things. It's more your thinking, how you interpret the project, and how you execute it. It's for the students to show their own critical reasoning here.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. 𝘾𝙗𝙄𝙗. Is there maybe for a brief description that from your explanation, students can or they have to work on their own for the work, yeah, for the project, but maybe there will be guidance from the both the Government University lecturers and even from OMS for the collaborators if there are any administrative issues that they cannot fix on their own. Yeah, but for the work, they will be done by the students themselves. Yeah, in order to finish the project. And of course, that was a good explanation from Dr. 𝘾𝙗𝙄𝙗 that there is nothing right or wrong from this project because it's just to challenge yourself. Yeah, especially for creating your critical ability skills and then other interpersonal skills. Yeah, there is no right or wrong for this, and everyone whom are willing to join, they will be the winners of this project. I think that's for the question. Is there any further questions from the students? Okay, we have other questions here. Okay, from Muhammad Hassan. Muhammad Hassan asked about how long will this project take place? Is it for a few days or weeks? Or maybe you may describe more about it. From Muhammad Hassan. Please, Dr. 𝘾𝙗𝙄𝙗.
Thank you very much, Mohammed Hassan. And it's a good question. Is it days, weeks? Are you working every hour? Is it 24 hours? Well, now, the project is going to be designed over a 2 or 3 week period, and with specific tasks meant to be achieved each week. So how the idea would be for students to spend maybe between 1 or 2 hours doing the project to be able to achieve that task for that week. How the students work now is dependent on the student team themselves. We are not going to tell you exactly what to do and how to do it, when to do it. So you have a week, for example, to complete one aspect of the task. Well, go ahead and do it. How you do it, whether you meet 10 times or you meet once or you meet twice, go ahead and do the task as you wish. And so that would go on for different tasks meant for different weeks. For example, you'll be given a task, maybe you meet first and discuss ideas. Second task might be to make a presentation of your ideas. Third task might be to make feedbacks as well as write reflective statements so that you can get the core certificate. So this will be done over 3 weeks. We appreciate that people are working at different paces and different time zones, for example. So you might need to fix your meetings where it would fit both groups. And then you would see challenges. I promise you, you will see challenges amongst students. And it's normal in life, teams, in terms of like, will it fit everybody's time? Some people say, well, I want at 8 a.m. Some people want it at 10 p.m. And how do you work around that? It's part of the learning. How do you work around it?
Okay, thank you very much from the questions from Muhammad Hassan as well as the answer. So that I think that gives you an example, yeah, and a clear idea about how long will this COIL project be. It will be about 2 to 3 weeks where the students may have weekly tasks, yeah, that are time constraints, and that there will be collaborations from each of the team members, yeah, maybe for 1 or up to 2 hours every day in order to work on your task. But actually it's not very mandatory, so that you guys can work as long as you want. Yeah, it's not very constrained, but for the task there will be a time constraint, because some of the tasks are due to in a week. Yeah, in a week, and then you guys will have to submit your projects for 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, I think that's a brief explanation, and that's on point. Is there any? Yes, thank you very much from Muhammad Hassan. Is there any further question? Again? So already 4 questions. Is there any 5th question maybe? Okay, here's another one from the chat box, Dr. Vlajimi. What opportunities can be obtained between the students from UNS, and where will they be involved in the projects maybe in the near future? Is there any follow-ups probably from this particular project? That's from Abdul. Students
Okay. Thank you very much, Abdul, for the interesting questions, and I'll try to provide an answer. So first is this: with the particular project, I don't see any direct follow-up with the project itself. It's almost like once the project is done, that's it. At least as regards the core project, you get a certificate and that's it. Now, like I said at the beginning, what does the core help you to do? Well, instantly you have friends from different places. So you have friends from the UK, and you have friends from Indonesia. You have friends from the UK that might be from different places, and all of a sudden your horizon and your scope has expanded. So the critical aspects of learning, which is that interpersonal skill, interpersonal relationships that you build from this kind of activities, I think is priceless. And so in terms of follow-up, now this very much depends on the students and their interaction and the friendships that they formed. What else can you use, and how else can you use the core? Well, you can use the core as a reference point if you're applying for jobs or looking for employment. You will get a certificate, for example, that shows that you've engaged in collaborative activities. Your coordinator will be able to confirm that for you, that you did participate. And indeed, your certificate already is a confirmation of your participation. So those are follow-up points, but direct follow-up on the project itself, not necessarily, except the project is designed as such, or perhaps maybe based on what happened with the project, there's another follow-up that is designed again, which will be another different project by itself. I hope that sort of answers your question, Abdul.
Okay, I think that's a very good explanation from Dr. Fajimi, that instantly you guys will have a new friend from UK at least. Yeah, and then from that very first friendship, yeah, things may follow. Yeah, things may follow from those, and maybe there will be follow-ups from your friendship. Maybe they will ask you to join with other projects from government universities, or even from their other environments as well. Yeah, and then the second one would be the certificate. Yeah, the certificate for COIL project will you may use it in your CV. Yeah, after you graduate from this OMS, and then you can use the certificate as an additional information that you have worked together with students from UK, especially from Coventry University, because Coventry is one of the leading universities in UK. So that will make you as an international recognition, yeah, for your CV. I think that answers the question from Abdul. Thank you very much. Is there any other question from other students? Okay. If there is any, please raise your hand, or even oh, there is another question. Yeah. Okay, without the name. Dr. Vlajimi, about the activities, there are at least 7 activities. Are we going to do them all in those 3 weeks, or can we choose? Would you explain, please? Thank you very much. But this is without a name. Okay.
Okay.
After this, there will be another question from Seliana Putri.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that question. Yes, you have to complete the activities of the project to get the certificate. You would have to complete it. For Coventry students, it forms part of their assessment. For example, we designed it in such a way that it forms part of their assessment. So it's actually very compulsory for them to go through it because they attract some certain marks. At least that's the way I designed this, my own core project. Some other people might design it another way. The question around whether you have to do the 7 activities, not necessarily. It depends on what has been designed into the core project. So for example, obviously something like giving feedback is designed into the particular project that I'm thinking about with UMS. Writing reflective statements is compulsory if you want to get the certificate. But these are not odious tasks. So for example, it could be 100 words of feedback, watching other people's videos. You need to make a presentation, a video presentation. You need to record it. So all these activities are not they're activities included in the maybe discussions you're having. So you need to record your discussions, for example. So there are not any odious activities that are difficult to do. And yes, within the 3 weeks, all the activities would sort of be done. You might not, for example, there might be no questions and answers, for example. There might be no interviews, for example. So, but different, what was presented was just to show you different kind of activities that can happen in a core project.
Okay, thank you very much for the explanation, Dr. Flajimi. So that those 7 activities are just examples, yeah, maybe from the variety of tasks that you guys might have once you have registered in the COIL project. And as long as those 3 weeks or those weekly tasks are done, then you are okay, and you will have the certificate in the end of this COIL project. There is another question from Seliana Putri.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Hi, Mr. Polajimi. Maybe my question is off the topic, but I want something about how to discuss the learning curriculum in different countries with different cultures, because I'm afraid if there is discrimination in culture, maybe because, to be honest, I like learn about culture and way of learning in the country, but I think I'm difficult about speaking English, and my English maybe the English language is bad. Maybe you can share tips. Thank you.
Okay. If I heard you correctly, Selena, first of all, your English language is not bad. I can promise you that your English language is 1000% better than my Indonesian. Okay, I can bet you that. So your English language is perfect. You sound very good already. Okay, like a professional. So don't worry about it. It's not a test of knowledge. Okay, that's the first one. Mixing. If I heard your question correctly, how do you benefit from the intercultural mixing? If I'm correct, Selena?
She was asking for your tips if there is any language barrier, actually, but
Yes.
if there's any further, yeah.
So I can promise, first of all, Coventry students are very friendly, and of course they are signed up to certain kind of ethical standards. That's the first thing. The university tries to implement that, their ethical standard, their ways in which they know how they're meant to represent the university, and hopefully we've taught them well. But it's a normal student environment. To bridge, I'm not going to say I'm an expert here in telling you how to build relationships and stuff. No, I'm not an expert. I'm just a lecturer and a researcher. But I do know that you students have a nice way of interacting amongst yourselves. Like I said, your English is already very good. What will happen typically with the project is your interest to participate. So you're going to have your own interest to participate, and people would listen. Okay, it's a normal process. So if you're in a group and then you're given certain tasks, the idea is you really want to learn. you really want to make some friends. So you'll be joined together in a smaller group. So you're not going to be a class of 200 people. No, it's going to be a group of maybe 8 people, for example, and you are going to all work together, or 10 people in your own group. That group will now need to work together to bring out certain outcomes. So yes, you'll be given certain tasks. Your ideas will be sought in that task. I'm thinking, and sometimes we face this. The problem might be if a student, for example, or a participant decides not to participate, or decides to just be quiet all through. Well, the best we can do is to encourage you to participate, and the coordinator from UMS will also be there to support and encourage. So will the coordinator from Coventry. And if there are any administrative issues or things noticed or things you want done, then that can be passed on to your coordinator, who will help in making sure that the challenges are overcome.
Yes, thank you for the explanation, Dr. Fulajimi. Is there any further feedback, Seliana Putri?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's already very clear from Dr. Fulajimi. So yeah, language barrier hopefully is not the most important issue. That what's important is that you are brave enough to try this project and to challenge yourself, and then to get more friends from UK. I don't think that that is a very common experience, and that is not a very common chance for you to have this particular event, yeah, so that you can have a lot of friends from the UK, and then you can follow things up afterwards, maybe even to get some scholarships from UK afterwards, and for your masters or even for your doctorals, who knows, yeah, the opportunities varies. Is there any further questions from our fellow students? No, I don't see any from the chat box either. Okay, if there is no further questions, I think that's it for this main session and the Q&A session with Dr. Folajimi Ashiru from Coventry University. Thank you very much for your explanation, Dr. Folajimi, as well as the answers to for all the 6 questions. Yeah, I believe there were 6 or 7 questions. They were very delightful to be able to answer these particular questions. I think that's it from me as the moderator. I will give it back to the Masters of Ceremony, Ms. Winnie Parwita-Suci. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Pak Ali. What a wonderful and insightful discussion. Thank you again, Dr. Folajimi and Pak Ali Zainal Abidin. On behalf of the department, I hope that COIL project between our university will be happening soon. Yeah. Okay, dear all participants, before we end this meeting, I would like to ask you to turn on your camera for a while. And let me take our photo. Okay, I invite all participants to turn on the camera for a while, and let me take the photo. Okay, in the count of 3, please say Coventry. Okay, do you guys understand? Okay. Okay, once more. I invite all the participants to turn on your camera for a while, and let me take our photo. Okay, in the count of 3, please say Coventry. Okay, 1, 2, 3, Coventry. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3, Coventry.
Coventry.
Okay, thank you. Well, dear honorable speaker and all participants, once again, thank you for your time and see you on the next event. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam salam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, all students who are already gathered. Thank you very much. Hopefully to meet you soon. And maybe I will also join up to be the collaborators, yeah, Dr. 𝘾𝙗𝙄𝙗, for this COIL project. Thank you very much once again. And for Dr. 𝘾𝙗𝙗𝙗, there will be some certificate that I will give it to you as the keynote speaker for today's event. I will send them to your emails, as well as the documentation for today's meeting. Thank you very much once again, Dr. 𝘾𝙗𝙗𝙗, for your effort and for your time as well, because it's very early in the UK and you are already rise and shine, yeah, from your office. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ali, for the opportunity, and well done. And Miss Winnie for being the master of ceremony. Wonderfully mastered event, and Ali for putting this wonderful event together, and all the students that came around. It's a privilege and an honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's it. If other students may leave the meetings if it's necessary, and if you guys have other example to take place. Okay, thank you very much once again, Dr. 𝘾𝙗𝙗𝙗, for your time. I will get back to you soon. Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye then.
Okay.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Masalam.
Yeah, masalam.